sounds
may I
like you
comment?
have to. Sure, go ahead.
Just a couple of things, Marcia. Even what we call individuals, for whatever reason they were incarcerated, we no longer call them ex-offenders or offenders. Researchers don't call them that, et cetera. And so what we call them either people with criminal records or returning citizens. So why is that important? Because labels impact perceptions that people have of individuals. And as Sue indicated, these social determinants that many in our society are beset with, from the poverty you mentioned, from the trauma, from unemployment, underemployment, mental health, homelessness, low skills, lack of transportation, neglect, community disinvestment, foster care, desegregation or segregation, abuse, substance misuse, cash bail. We know you owe $100, for a minor offense, you end up in jail for months and sometimes years. So there's a host of social determinants that really determine a person ending up incarcerated. And then also, even when they come out, whether or not they may have a high propensity to go back into prison because of these same social determinants.
Well, I apologize for the incorrect nomenclature, and I
It's all
appreciate
right.
you setting me straight. And my question to you is that, based on your observations, do you feel that the criminal justice system needs some reform?
Yes, and I'm happy to say, in many states, including Illinois, that the discussion and the will to reform is there, and there's an understanding. For instance, we are in the midst of, and we Safer and another organization, task, were given a charge to be the lead agencies in helping the state IDOC and the governor's office get individuals out of prison early releases. Now, they were close to their release, the mandatory release, but to get them out because of this COVID-19 pandemic that was permeating the prisons also. However, as we looked at the decision to get individuals out that could come out, but it was under this particular situation that we're in, those same individuals could have been out even years ago. They were low offenders, they were aged, they had host sites. And so what we're emphasizing as an organization is that we need to continue to look at how do we, first of all, keep individuals from being unnecessarily incarcerated, and then those that are in there now for low offense, drug possessions, and so on, non-violent, how do we get them out? And then how do we have the necessary supports and resources when they come out, like was indicated, needing housing, like we indicated, needing support services, like we indicated, needing employment? How do we have that system and those resources available as the norm, as opposed to a reaction to this pandemic?
Yeah, and I would add, I mean, we've seen a lot on the news about, the policing, but, just the discretion. We have so much discretion in with the policing of what areas they police, where they, choose, what neighborhoods they go to, who they choose to arrest. And then you move, on to the prosecutors, and they have a wide array of discretion of, what charges to bring, what punishments, and then moves up to the court. And so, we just have a lot of reform to look at, as far as the whole system. And then another area would be cash bails, that we're holding people hostage through bails, that are not realistic, that they aren't able to pay, and that when they haven't even been convicted of a crime as yet. So, there's several other different areas as well. And as far as looking at a continuum of care that starts pre-release, that we really need to be looking while people are still incarcerated, what supports and doing the planning so that when they return to the community, that they have the supports in place to be successful. So really starting that pre-release.
Yeah, and not going back to the same situation that got them in trouble in the first place.
Right, right. And as you can see, when I've talked, we have a lot of our individuals coming out. They're just, couch surfing, going from people, they don't really have any stable housing. And so if we could start working on some of those while they're still inside, and get the, supportive services in the community ready, it would be, would lead to success.
So the one thing was, I was wondering if you had an example of a success story, something that we could hold on to.
Well, we've had several success stories. I'll mention one in our Department of Labor grant, our Advancing Careers and Employment. We're just wrapping that grant up. It's been a 3-year grant, and we will end that the end of this month. And we've had many success stories of linking individuals with occupational training and gainful employment. We had a couple stories. One young lady came to us. She had been in the healthcare system working as a nurse, had a very successful career, made one bad choice that ended her up in prison for 2 years. Upon her release, of course, she had difficulty getting back into the healthcare field. So we worked with her on looking and exploring some other options. So she explored deaf studies and ended up and was very successful, went through and got a certificate in American Sign Language, and is going to be using that in a profession. And this is a young woman that had a lot of adversities, that when she came out, again, she was homeless, no family support, looking to get her children back, and did just an incredible job at working with us and putting all the pieces in place for her to get her own home, to get her children back, and to now have this profession, and hopefully will be, back on her way. So really rebuilding and restoring. And then another example I can share is a gentleman that we had that was incarcerated for 7 years, came out, very similar situation, homeless, lack of family support, really struggling when he got out. We enrolled him in CDL training to get his commercial driver's license. He was very excited about that. He had hope. There's a lot of dignity in a job and having a purpose, being able to get up and go to work every day. And he just completed the training in flying colors, did a fantastic job. He now is an over-the-road trucker. He's making $24 an hour. He's been able to purchase a car. He has his own apartment, and he is just really enjoying life and his newfound freedom. And he's contributing to society in a very positive way.
Well, this has been a very enlightening conversation, and I just want to end offering a question to both of you, and that is, how can the community help?
Okay, I'll start, Marcia. I think one of the things that the community, and when I hear the word community, it's a compilation of not only the individuals and family, but the businesses, the businessmen, businesswomen, the legislators that whose district those physical communities are in. I think one of the things is that we need to understand that families are a community-based resource also, and oftentimes, and it's good, we talk about community renewal or community resource. We look at brick and mortar or agencies or companies coming in, that's good. But there are families that are community resources also. We also have to recognize that many of these men and women that have been incarcerated and they come out, they are gifted individuals. They have skills, they have talents, they have this thing, the cloud hanging over them about the record, but they are gifted. They have a desire, they have hope, although they've come out of hopelessness, and so they have a desire to change. Then we also have this term, capital development. Well, the communities and those that are leaders in community needs to understand there needs to be human capital development if we want to truly impact change.
And I would say in regard to the community, our employers, just to be open
Yes.
to the individuals that we come to talk to you about, to open your doors, to, give someone a second chance, and to really consider, the benefit to your company and organization and what they can bring to you. So to really, just listen, and to work with us. And another thing I would say is the labor unions. That has been difficult for our people to break into the unions. It seems like, if you don't know, unless you know someone or have a special in, it's very difficult. And we would certainly like, the unions in our area to open up a bit and to really take a look at this resource that they could be utilizing.
Yeah. Can I just give an acknowledgement of our employer partners, as Sue mentioned? Without them, the end result of employment wouldn't be there. And so, Safer yearly has an employer partnership combined between Quad Cities and Illinois. Probably about 350 active employers that hire upwards of 3,000 to 4,000 individuals a year, and we are appreciative of that.
All right, well, very well said with both of you. And we really appreciate you providing this information as we try to search for solutions and improving our communities. And I want to thank you again for sharing the great work that you are doing at the Safer Foundation, both of you. Thank you again.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Thank you for raising the issue. Thank you so much.